Anybody have an action plan yet? Are you waiting for day 3 to create the action plan? I didn't. I already have one. So I hope day 3 just adds to that. I'm sure it will. It's going to be amazing. We are going to start the morning off with something new. I want you all to drop your Facebook page or group, wherever you want people to show up and follow you. Drop that in the chat. Let's give each other some help out here and follow each other on Facebook today. I'm going to ask you to do this throughout the day so that you all can make sure you are connected once we leave the summit. So we are going to start with the unicorn of making money online, Miss Haley Gray herself. Welcome to the stage, Haley.
Hey there. Thank you guys for having me. Thank y'all for getting up early on a Saturday morning for most of y'all. For Jill, who's coming in, it is not early. It's her evening already. So she's joining us for tea. Welcome. So today is talking about that wonderful unicorn of actually making money. Because one of the cool things that y'all are going to hear here at the summit is all of these amazing ideas. There will be no shortage of amazing pieces of inspiration. There are no shortage of $1 million ideas out there. We all have lots of ideas that could make us each millions of dollars. The tricky part is actually taking that idea and doing something with it. Raise your hands if part of the reason you decided to become an entrepreneur was because you didn't like people telling you what to do. Right? Raise your hands if you ever do something once or twice and you get super frustrated. I do it once or twice, it didn't work, therefore it's not going to work. Oh my Lord, right? So here's the hard part from today. It's figuring out what the shortest path to money is and doing the steps you need to do to get there and not stopping until you get there. Oh, look, I tried it once or twice and it didn't work for me. Y'all, it took me literally years of back and forth on some things before they started really working for me. Doesn't mean that they're not going to work. It may mean the messaging is slightly off. It may mean that the execution is slightly off. It may mean that people just don't know who you are. It's really hard to have a New York Times best-selling book if you don't have the audience to sell to, if you're not talking to enough people. So part of your step may be building your platform, building your audience, building that network, building that credibility so that you actually have people to sell to along the way. One of the things I'm going to encourage y'all to do as a result of this week is just book a call with me. It's a link that Tish is dropping. It's a free 15-minute call. Those of you that know me know how I roll. I am not there to sell you anything you don't need. My 15-minute calls are literally a get to know you, get to learn about you, and be of service. If you happen to decide to buy from me, great. But that's not the purpose of the call. The purpose of the call is to help and be of service. So if you think that you might want to pick my brain for 15 minutes, check out that link that Tish is dropping. And here's the thing. The tricky part is taking all of the ideas that you're getting, all of these amazing $1 million ideas that you're getting during the summit and that you are going to continue to get today, all of this inspiration, and acting on that inspiration, on those ideas, prioritizing those ideas. That's the magic unicorn, the magic $1 million unicorn. It's taking those ideas, those downloads, those revelations, those aha moments, and actually doing something with them. Everybody has ideas. Not everybody actually has the gumption, the persistence, the grit, the determination to stick with that idea and grow it until it is successful. There is a reason that most businesses fail in the first 3 to 5 years. Most of the reasons involve money. Many of the reasons involve just, you hit the end of your rope, you're exhausted. So if you're doing too many things and you're exhausted and you run out of money, that's not a very good combination, right? Maybe it's time to step back and find another way forward. The magic unicorn of making money is not just beating yourself into the ground. I want to make that super clear here. Part of the reason that I've been successful has been that I actually don't beat myself into the ground, despite appearances to the contrary. I actually am, as some of y'all know, we've been joking about the drinking game going on behind the scenes because I have an adult daughter with severe persistent mental illness and severe psychiatric issues. Lo and behold, this is the week. Yesterday, I got the emergency call from the group home manager saying, oh my gosh, we've got a problem. So part of that piece of self-care is setting boundaries and saying, okay, I'm not going to deal with you until Monday. Sorry, guys. Nobody's going to die right now. And then getting the MCO to do their job. Part of being a business owner is balancing life and work. If you are running another full-time job while you are building your business, and I know several of you are, prioritize even more carefully that shortest path to money, that easiest path to money. Sometimes that path may be a little bit longer, but it's something that you can do in many smaller increments for your time that's going to get you to making money consistently and allow you to replace that full-time job. It's picking and choosing your battles wisely. It's choosing the right unicorn. If you're building your business full-time, I know some of us are. One of the hardest things that there's always more ideas, more things that we want to do, more than we have time or money for. And it's not just a question of hire somebody to do it. It may be a question of prioritizing, because we always have to prioritize budget. We always have to watch our numbers. It's one of the things people don't get about scaling a business, is that it's always about that bottom line and paying attention to your numbers. Is the yield where it needs to be? Is your operations where it needs to be? When you're marketing for a client, can you actually afford to service that client? Are you charging enough that you can actually afford to do it yourself or afford to pay somebody else to do it? Does this make sense? Do you know your numbers? I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people, and I've had, for instance, a window washing company who came to me and asked me to do Google ads. And I said, the first question out of my mouth was, how much is a client worth to you? $350. Okay. How much are you willing to spend to get a client? What is your profit margin? We ended up having a really in-depth conversation and deciding that he really could not afford to do Google ads due to the cost per lead. Never mind actually paying anybody to manage the ads, no matter how cheaply they were managing the ads, because he couldn't afford to spend more than about $20 per client that he acquired, because the industry is such. Maybe Google ads in that case don't make the most sense. You can't spend your way out of a hole sometimes. So business and marketing a lot of times is about prioritizing and figuring out what's going to work in your business and talking to people who are actually honest and going to tell you what it's going to really cost to get a client. Depending on the type of client you're looking for, it could cost you $1,500 to get a client by advertising. Well, if you're going to make $15,000 on that client, it can make perfect sense, right? But you want to make sure that you are prioritizing your money, prioritizing your time, taking the amazing ideas that you are getting from this summit and picking the most important ones and actually doing something with them first. I can show you all the latest tech. I can show you all the latest whirligigs and WYSIWYGs and automations. Oh my gosh, let me tell you what Zapier is doing this week. Let me show you about monetizing this. Let me do that. Let me do the other. There are so many tools in the bag of tricks. None of them mean anything. Anything. Not a darn thing if you can't pick a single one that's going to work for you and execute on it and do the thing. You know, that's the hard part of being a business owner. That's the unicorn. That money making, sticking with it, being persistent, doing what you have to do. Sometimes it means taking a step to the side, getting a side hustle and working a side gig so that you have enough money to pay your bills while you're continuing to grow it. Sometimes it means not leaving your daytime job until you are making enough money. Be smart with your money, prioritize, be careful, and keep moving forward. Don't just come to these events, get inspired, and then forget what you learned 3 days later. And then we have to do it again in 6 months. I want you to come again in 6 months, but we're going to be talking about different topics. Every 6 months, it's a different topic. And we don't do the same one twice. So if you want that magic unicorn that's going to make you money, and one of the things that I've been really excited for my clients is that they consistently succeed over time. rather than having that 2% of clients that are successful, I have 97% that are successful. Because we're prioritizing, because we're finding the way that works for that particular client. And I definitely don't give the exact same recommendations to any two people. Even in a group coaching program, I'll be like, yeah, you should stay out of that particular arena because that's not who you are. That's not going to work for you. That does not fit your personality. And I see some smiles because they know they've had me tell them that. So find what works for you. Do what works for you. Prioritize what works for you. Take some time off. Take care of your physical body, or there won't be a business. Remember, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Right? Anybody ever heard that saying? Well, we're all the mamas of our own businesses, even if we have some daddies in here right now. But if we're not happy as the business owner, if we're not taking care of ourselves, nobody in the business is going to be happy. And we're not going to be able to take care of our business. So, with that said,